Okay, guys, so we're gonna be talking about the Portugal game. This is before the game is starting. You know, this is 10:45, which you guys can see. Can you see that? 10:45. You can. Okay, good. So yeah, this is the game. This is what the formation is before the game starts. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I like the way that this team is lined up. People are already talking about like which players should be playing over which, and there's always gonna be opinions on the national team. But the one thing I'm gonna give Santos a lot of credit for is that he really tries his best to utilize the strengths of each individual player, right? Like we've tried playing a 4-2-3-1 in the past with Rafael on the side, Rafael Leão on the side positions. We recently played a friendly match where we were playing in this type of formation, right? Where João Felix is playing as a secondary striker with Andre Silva up top. The way that we kind of play in game when it's lined up this way is that it's not always in this type of formation. Like we're constantly rotating between a 4-1-4-1, a 4-3-3, right? João Felix playing in this secondary striker role is definitely something that I like Santos doing, because that is his best role when it comes to playing football in general. Like he always really plays really well in that secondary striker role, while you have the main striker like Ronaldo up top kind of utilizing empty space as much as he possibly can, sometimes roaming into the side positions. What you'll notice a lot is constant rotation between these three guys right here, right? Sometimes they'll be the guys that actually push off into the right wing position to get a cross in, right? Which I feel like is going to be very important. People are already making comparisons between Palinha and Ruben Neves. Guys, we have CDM players that all offer their own thing, and it all depends on what you're looking for, okay? Ruben Neves in this team is a really well-balanced player to have, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be relying on the work rates of these three guys who work really hard on the pitch, right? So having Otavio, Bernardo Silva, and Bruno Fernandes is going to make a lot of sense. People can't make these comparisons between, oh, does Otavio deserve to start over Rafael Leão? That's a comparison that doesn't make any sense, because Otavio is a hard-working player. That's the types of players that Fernando Santos wants in the national team, players that will push forward and come back like crazy. All five of these guys right here will do that for you and your team. Ronaldo's not going to be that guy. He will be sometimes, right? But he won't be as much as these guys right here. The back four with Cancelo, Diaz, Pereira, and Guerrero makes a lot of sense for how he probably wants to play, right? So here's the thing. If you actually check out our bench, if it actually shows the bench, which I don't think it does over here, our bench consists of players like Antonio Silva. I think Pep is actually there as well. Nuno Mendes, I think, is injured right now, which is why Guerrero is probably playing. Here's the thing, guys, right? So I understand why Fernando Santos is not starting Antonio Silva or Pep, because Pep was actually injured for a while before he came back to the Portuguese national team. So if he was playing consistently, I could see him playing, because honestly, he's still really good. But I understand why he's not playing right now, because of that lack of consistency. And then Antonio Silva is a great player, but he's still young and new to the national team. Like that was his first senior call-up in that recent thing, and him going to the World Cup was also a recent thing too. So I understand why he's not starting him. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I really like this starting 11, considering all of the circumstances and considering the type of playstyle that Santos wants to go for. Because like I said, I think this team is really well suited for each individual player that's in it and for how he wants to play, right? So I'm totally okay with this lineup, to be honest with you guys. It makes sense for the situation of some of the injuries, some of the players that haven't been playing consistently, the goalie being Diogo Costa with his absolutely brilliant distribution. That's the type of stuff that, you know, we have to look into the most, right? But it's unfortunate that I don't have like the sub bench over here, right? Ghana, I'm not really familiar with like a lot of their players. Like I know some of them. They seem to be playing in a 5-back formation, so you need players that are going to be able to work extra hard in that midfield setup to kind of score the opportunities, right? So like I said, I'm totally okay with this lineup. This is before the game is out, so that way people can kind of have an understanding that I'm not just making this reaction like afterwards, right? And I don't think you can, because the game hasn't even started yet. It's going to start in like 10 minutes. You can clearly see right there, right? So yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. I think the lineup is perfectly fine. I think we could definitely do work with it. So we'll see what's up after the game. Okay, guys, so before we get this video up for Fernando Morientes, you're going to hear like my initial reaction right from the beginning of the review, because I almost had a heart attack, okay? I'm going to be honest with you. I almost had a heart attack from the stuff that I was seeing on the pitch, okay? Thank goodness in the last seconds of the game, Diogo Costa did not eat his mistake, man. I'm so happy that it didn't, because it would have destroyed this kid's confidence, okay? I'm so happy. He will never, in a million years, he will never, ever put that ball down ever again until he looks behind him. He's never going to do it again, bro. Sometimes there's certain life lessons that you got to learn. You got to learn it the hard way. Thank goodness he stuck in a foot for the challenge there for us to get the ball. Because if he didn't stick in a foot there, it would have been a goal. It would have 100% have been a goal. No communication from the defenders to tell him, hey, there's a guy behind you, right? Even still, he has to... Gosta, thanks a lot, my friend, huh? Thanks a lot, my friend. Anyways, guys, what a game of football. A lot of weird decisions from the referee today. I'm not going to lie to you guys. The refereeing, the officiating it wasn't great. You know, near the end, it was like, okay, but it wasn't great. There was a lot of very sus decisions being made in general. The 2 goals that we conceded, horrible goals to concede. Both of them were very, very bad goals. Like super generic garbage. If you conceded that in FIFA, you would lose your mind type of goals, right? Here's the thing, guys, okay? I showed you guys the initial starting lineup from the team. I'm gonna actually try to get this website up for you guys. I don't know what I used. I used, I think it was this before. Let me see if I can get it up here. Portugal versus Ghana. Okay, guys, I showed you guys this starting lineup right here, okay? For me, the starting lineup, like I said, I stand by it completely, because everyone always looks into hindsight. They're always like, oh, like after the game is done, oh boy, this should have been done, this should have been done, this should have been done. No, this is a good starting lineup to start off with, because every player in the positions makes sense. I think Nuno Mendes was injured. He wasn't here today. Danilo Pereira started today because Pep has not been playing consistently because he's been injured for the whole majority of the season. And Antonio Silva is new to the team. I completely understand why the team would start off the way that it was. This is a very well-balanced team to start off a game with, while you make the substitutions. Guys, I don't care what anybody says. I used to say the same thing when Portugal lost to Belgium, okay? In last year's video. You guys can watch the exact same video. The one thing that people cannot fault Fernando Santos on is that this guy knows how to make substitutions. If you guys were to ask my dad right now who I thought the subs were gonna be made to, I predicted the exact ones. I'm like, Bruno and Bernardo need to stay on the pitch. Otavio wasn't playing horribly, but we needed a different type of play style, right? I'm like, Otavio needs to come off for a midfielder, okay? For an actual midfielder. And him subbing on William Carvalho was the perfect substitution. Because guys, people are always like, oh, William this, William that. Guys, you need to understand what types of players Ruben Neves is, Danilo Pereira is, Palinha is. They're different types of players. What William Carvalho offers your team is 99 composure and, you know, a player that can actually break down the defense with certain passes, you know, switching up the play and defending a little bit for you. He's perfect at doing that. And it was so good that we kept him on the pitch. I really, really like that. I like that we were playing with Neves and William Carvalho at that point. It was perfect. And then the substitution, this one right here, where is it? The substitution right here. Ruben Neves for Rafael Leão. Another substitution I told my dad about. I'm like, this is what he's going to do. Rafael Leão will come on in the second half because we're going to need that direct attack. People were like, oh, he didn't put Rafael Leão until Ghana scored the opportunity. Do you guys know how football works? They're winning. Why would they put a super attacking oriented player there, right? When Fernando Santos is going to want to defend, that's just his play style. You know what I'm saying? He's going to want to defend in that situation, because Ghana, the only way that they were creating opportunities against us was against the counterattack, okay? And on the counterattack, they weren't doing that good of a job. The 2 goals that we conceded were very, very poor goals, which, to be fair, in football can 100% happen. But the 2 substitutions he did, I'm very happy that he didn't take off João Felix, okay? I'm going to tell you guys why. João Felix, ever since he went to Atletico Madrid, is a workhorse monster. He knows how to tackle, he knows how to defend, and you need to keep that type of player on when you are putting a player like Rafael Leão on the pitch. It's very important. He puts Leão on the pitch. A minute later, we score with João Felix. Beautiful finish from him. Composure through the roof. Loved it, right? João Felix, again, for the second opportunity, gets the initial challenge. I'm pretty sure it was him. Again, guys, the memory is an absolute blur from what was happening because it all happened so quickly, right? João Felix with a really good challenge from what I've seen. We continue on the counterattack, and that's what Leão's best at. If you're playing him in that left-sided position, right, and you just time that pass perfectly, the guy's going to be through on goal and he's going to finish for you. And he scored. Beautiful goal scoring opportunity. These subs, the way that we start off our team is the way that it should start off. What I will say is this, okay? What I will say is this. if I was Fernando Santos, the main thing that I would do, okay, the main thing that I would do here is that I would risk putting Antonio Silva on the pitch. I'm gonna tell you guys why, okay? Antonio Silva this year for Benfica, if you guys don't watch Benfica games, I will tell you. If you watch the Benfica games, this kid is consistent, okay? He's consistent. He's been playing consistently. Like I said earlier, I completely understand why he doesn't want to start the kid, because he only recently just joined us. Because he was so good this year that the manager would have been stupid to not bring him into the club, right? Or into the national team, right? He would have been really dumb. But now that he's in the team, I think he should start him. Danilo Pereira, listen, the two opportunities, they were weird. He wasn't that bad, and it's not as bad people making it out to be, right? The main mistakes were definitely something that could have been avoided, but Antonio Silva would be a risk worth doing, in my opinion, okay? This lineup that Fernando Santos lined up with, right, is so perfect because the rotation policy that we have in our club is like this, okay? Not our club, in our national team, is that we play a 4-3-1-2, a 4-3-3, and a 4-1-4-1 in game. That's what we're doing. This formation stuff that you're seeing is completely irrelevant to how we are consistently playing on the pitch. Bernardo Silva is never a person you could take off the pitch, and neither is Bruno. Why? Because these guys need to be that creative player in the team, and it depends, right? Because Bruno, you could definitely make a sub where he's gonna be the type of guy that's gonna be subbed off by, you know, someone like Mateus Nunes, depending on the situation of the game, right? But we needed to keep him on. I told my dad, I'm like, Otavio needs to come off. He's not playing horribly, but we need a different type of player there. And then João Felix needs to stay. Rafael Leão, get that attacking presence while still having João Felix, who still defends for you. Like I mentioned in the beginning, you need players that work hard for you. Bruno Fernandes will do it. Bernardo Silva, Neves, Otavio, these are hard-working players. But we needed to sacrifice one of them to break this defensive lineup that Ghana had, okay? Because it was very park the bus, counter-attacking oriented, very like FIFA meta rap mechanics in general, okay? This game almost gave me a heart attack. Cancelo on that one goal, I don't know why he's letting the ball go. A professional player, dude, even being from North America, the default thing that the managers always tell you is to win the first ball. Every person knows you got to win the first ball. This guy's letting it bounce. No, you can't let it bounce in those situations. But even still, like I said, I wouldn't mind if there's a sub in the next game where Antonio Silva's playing, right? Like I said, I understand why he doesn't play him because he's new to the team, but the kid's got talent. He's definitely going to be the future of Portugal, 100%. He's going to be playing for us consistently. It's going to be beautiful to work with him and Ruben Dias in the team, but that definitely needs to happen 100%. Honestly, if we were to line up like this yet again, I don't mind, because what Fernando Santos does, guys, is that he understands how to make substitutions 90% of the times. Don't get me wrong, there was times like in last year's game or games where I was like, wow, what is he doing here? Like, this is not like, but it's like 90% of the times the subs that he makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense, okay? Football is a game of moments. This is the exact same thing that I said when Portugal faced off against Belgium and Belgium beat us 1-0. Football is a game of moments, and Fernando Santos at the end of the day is competent enough to understand that in games like this, in the World Cup, you need to manage your results properly, okay? Ronaldo, good job today, man. You played great. Honestly, you played great. In my opinion, okay, as a Portuguese fan, whatever people could say, bias this, I always give a fair opinion. That's not a foul on Ronaldo for the opening goal. In my opinion, it's not. People are like, oh, but he puts an arm in. That's so soft. If that happened outside the 18-yard box, you wouldn't count that. The guy probably wouldn't even fall. He falls because it's inside the 18-yard box. He's like, oh no, made a mistake, boom, you know? In my opinion, hey, I even saw the commentaries, I even saw professional footballers say the exact same thing, that it was too soft, okay? That is incompetent refereeing or officiating that I've ever seen, to be honest with you guys. How are you gonna call a foul there when it's a goal-scoring opportunity? They allowed it for the offside that Ronaldo was in, where he tried to chip it and the goalkeeper saved it, but you don't allow it in a situation like that. That wasn't an obvious foul. You should let the play continue and then judge for yourself afterwards with VAR. Even the penalty, right, that we got with Cristiano Ronaldo was debatable as well. It was debatable because, you know, it was a situation where I feel like he gave it because he's like, oh, you know what, this first one, it's kind of soft for me to give that as a, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it feels like happened. Anyways, though, this World Cup's off to a great start. The first 30-40 minutes was FIFA meta rap mechanics through the roof. That is the purest definition of managing a result. But you know what, guys? In a tournament format like this, sometimes you need to play this way to win. This is how we won the Euros. It was from fantastic substitutions from Fernando Santos and good defensive plays with, to be fair, Rui Patricio was on form during that tournament as well. So honestly, the only main switch that I see being made is that maybe if Nuno Mendes comes back from injury, we'll see Antonio Silva could be worth the hassle to put into the team as well. But the rest of the team, if he were to start off like this again, I wouldn't mind. Rafael Leão doesn't need to start unless that is the play style that we're going for right away. He starts off the team, guys, to manage the game. He looks at the team. He's like, okay, this is what needs to happen in these areas for me to switch what is happening. Because if he could play a team like this, get a 1-goal result, he's not gonna put Rafael Leão on the pitch because he's gonna manage that result and try to get that 1-0. It was a great game, though. It was a great game. The officiating was definitely very inconsistent. Even these 3 subs that he makes at the end here, all perfect. I even told my dad, these are the 3 players that are coming off right now. Ronaldo for Gonzalo Ramos, perfect. João Mario for João Felix, perfect. And João Pillinga for Bernardo Silva, also perfect. It was like I have no complaints. Danilo Pereira was a little bit off, a little bit decent, like in certain situations, right? The main things that happened in the game, I know people are gonna definitely blame him for sure. Like I said, that's where, you know, we can have Antonio Silva in the future. But guys, that's the game review. I almost had a heart attack. Absolutely crazy stuff. You know what's funny? I actually got this shirt in high school from a friend of mine that was selling like the official shirts. Look at this thing. This thing's beautiful. I saw a green one the other day, but then I didn't pick it up because I was like, dude, I have so many Portugal shirts. Like, I'm good to go on that, you know? Maybe in the future, if they release like they release this like World Cup one in the stores, then I'll be good to go. But great game. Honestly, it gave me a heart attack, but that's the World Cup for you. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today. I'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.